We have some breaking news here on Chicago Bears now. Ryan Poles has made another move. He has released Tarik Cohen, the veteran running back who, as we will outline here, just cannot stay healthy. They have decided to move on from Cohen. ESPN's Adam Schefter broke the news just a little bit ago saying, quote, Bears releasing Tarik Cohen with an injury designation per source. He is not able to pass a physical yet, stemming from his knee injury during the 2020 season. Cohen's goal is to be ready in time for the upcoming season. I have a lot of takeaways, a lot of thoughts. Looking backward, looking forward, we'll do all of that. My initial reaction is I'm not surprised by this at all. If Ryan Poles is willing to trade Khalil Mack as a major move, are we supposed to be surprised that he's cutting Tarik Cohen, a guy who has not played since week 3 of 2020? It's not surprising. I think what we're seeing from Ryan Poles is that he's not scared and he has pretty blunt opinions about current guys on the roster, and he's going to make moves that are best for the present and for the future. And Tarik Cohen can't stay healthy. It sucks, but it's just a reality of this situation. What is your one-word reaction to Tarik Cohen getting cut? Are you sad? Are you bummed? Are you frustrating? Are you excited? Do you like it? I don't think anybody likes how this has played out for Cohen, but give me your one-word reaction to him getting cut. I'm honestly sad for the guy. I really am. I mean, you think about what this guy has dealt with in the past 2 years, right? He signs that 3-year extension, and then the next game he gets injured and he hasn't played since. So, I mean, good for him. He got his money, right? Like, good for Tarik Cohen. I'm happy he got that. But something happened during the rehab of the ACL, isn't able to play at all last year, still can't pass a physical, and amidst all of that, his brother died last year. Remember that story? Like, he's had a rough go, so I wish him the best moving forward. But again, I'm not surprised. The NFL is a business. Look at what's happened with Tarik Cohen. His first 3 seasons, he played in all 48 games in the regular season. He was an explosive player as a receiver, especially with over 1,500 yards. He'd get some touches out of the backfield as well with over 1,000 yards, 13 total touchdowns, 5.7 yards per touch. That never really changed, but obviously the availability did change. 3 games played, 74 rush yards, 41 receiving yards, no touchdowns. He couldn't stay on the field. And the saddest part about all this is Ryan Pace gives him that 3-year, I think $19 million contract extension, and he gets hurt the day after, or the game after. He plays less than a half. I mean, you want to talk about bad luck. I mean, that's one of the all-time bad luck. 3-year, $17 million. Appreciate producer Matthew Peterson on that one. But the point remains. He gets a nice little contract, and he plays a quarter and a half, and now his career might be over. It sucks for him, but for the Bears moving forward, you have to do what you have to do. Sometimes you have bad luck in life, and Tarik Cohen certainly had some bad luck. Like I said, the positive side of it, he got about $9 or $10 million guaranteed. That's life-changing money. If he never plays again in the NFL, if he's smart with that money, then he'll be good, and his family will be good. But as far as his playing career, who knows? I mean, Schefter says he wants to play this year, but it won't be for the Bears, and if he can't pass a physical, it won't be anywhere. This is why you subscribe, because when the Bears make moves, we break it down. Free Chicago Bears news, rumors, free agency, draft videos as well. We got you guys covered here on the channel. Khalil Mack gets traded yesterday. We go live, break that down. Today, Tarik Cohen gets released. We're bringing a video to you guys as well, because that's what we're about. We keep you guys informed with everything going on. Plus, I had a Khalil Mack replacements video fully scripted, ready to film, but then this news dropped. Be on the lookout for that. That'll go out later today, but probably tomorrow in all likelihood. Okay, cutting Tarik Cohen saves Chicago $2.25 million. So let's kind of move on from the news of him getting released and what that means, player-wise, to now. Okay, you get a little bit more cap space. The dead cap hits like $3.5 million. Nothing major on that front. I kind of mentioned this earlier, but let's expand on it. Ryan Poles is making moves, guys. He is not scared. He has come in here with a blunt attitude of like, hey, this is how I feel about these guys, and this is what I'm going to do about it. So, we've heard chatter. There's been mixed, not reports, but thoughts about how he feels about this roster. I'm not surprised that a guy that hasn't played in almost 2 years at the running back position is getting cut. I'm not surprised that Khalil Mack on the wrong side of 30, who's, played for the most part, but has dealt with injuries really since 2018, is getting traded for a second-round pick. Ryan Poles is trying to get younger, more explosive, and he's trying to get more money. And now the Bears are back to over $30 million in cap space, really over 40-something million if you get rid of all of the reserve contracts, which they won't get rid of all of them, but if they need to sign a player, you can just cut 10 of those guys and then go do it. There's certainly that option as well. The Bears are making moves for the future, and I think the future could still start this year. Don't think that this is necessarily a punt on 2022. I will agree with a lot of Bears Twitter, a lot of these moves setting up for 2023. Do you like what Ryan Poles is doing? Type Y for yes, type in for no. The reality is we won't know what a lot of these moves will mean long term until, a year or two from now, seeing how the results play out. But I think we'll have a better idea next week of how aggressive the Bears are in free agency. I'll tell you this, as you get your votes in yes or no, I will say what I do like about it is that he's very convicted in what he's doing. Like he's very confident in these moves that he is making. Otherwise, he wouldn't make them. You don't want your GM to be hesitant. Ryan Poles is not hesitant. I think you guys have figured that out. So we move on from Cohen, and you got to wonder, is Danny Trevathan next? I think that's a possibility, especially after Brad Biggs of the Chicago Tribune reports that the Bears are expected to cut Trevathan. Now, this one's a little bit trickier from a cap standpoint because if the Bears cut him before June 1st, they actually create more dead money than just keeping Trevathan for this year. I'll outline this right here for you guys. His cap hit currently for 2022 is just over $5.7 million. If they cut him before June 1st, that dead cap hit actually jumps up to 8.93. So you would lose the player and add more dead money. I don't think that makes sense. But what the Bears could do is designate him as a post-June 1st cut, which means that they would receive money or cap savings after June 1st of about $3.5 million. The dead money would only be $2.4 million, like we showed you there. Now, a key there, and a lot of you guys ask me, well, why not just post June 1st cut them, but then you save this much money? Yeah, you do, but you don't actually see that money until after June 1st. So what they'll probably do is, hey, Danny, we're cutting you, but we're designating you as a post-June 1st cut. So it lets him know that he can go test free agency, but the Bears don't actually see the financial benefit until after June 1st. But what they could do with that money is it could help pay for this incoming draft class. So it won't really benefit the Bears much for free agency, but it could help once the Bears draft their players in late April. Wait to sign some of those guys to contracts until June 1st. Use some of the Trevathan money in cap savings to do just that. Who should be cut next for Chicago? Should it be Danny Trevathan? Should it be someone else? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I certainly have a name in mind for this question. I think Eddie Goldman should be next. Dump Eddie Goldman. You think about Matt Eberflus and this hits principles and loafing system that they're bringing back. I'm not going to sit here and say I watched every play of Eddie Goldman last year, but he takes plays off. Let's just be honest. He sat out 2020, which I didn't have a problem with, but he came back. We didn't even know he was coming back until training camp. Wasn't the same guy. You cut him, you save almost $7 million. That's a no-brainer to me. Sure, his dead cap hit's like $5 million, but he's just not an impact guy. I don't really think he fits a 4-3 scheme, to be quite honest. Now, Ryan Poles probably likes his, violent play style because he's very powerful and strong, but does Eddie Goldman even like football at this point? I don't know. I think it's a fair question to ask, and I think if you're making some of these other moves, I think cutting Goldman just is a no-brainer. You could sign at least one starter with that, maybe even two, depending on the position, with almost $7 million. Quick reminder to subscribe. It's a busy time here on Chicago Bears Now. Free agency starts on Monday, and we're going to keep you guys informed between now and then. Tarik Cohen gone, Khalil Mack traded. What's next? Stay tuned to find out. When something happens, we'll have you guys covered here on Bears Now.